All right, we should be recording. Guys, welcome to this video where we're going to be talking up. All right, let me restart. All right, 3, 2, 1, boom. Guys, welcome to this video. This video is basically going to be breaking down the $1 Million Day. It's a productivity guide to controlling your day. Obviously, from the millionaire Big Court, he's going to be giving you guys an exact breakdown of his day, when he's busy, when he's not busy, how he gets content done, how he, delegates stuff, how he delegates work, how some of his teams might look. And, I'm going to do my best to get you guys to kind of see that side of him, right? Where he's really just going to break down how he can do so much all the time, right? Because I know not everybody can do that. So, with that being said, obviously, the beginning of your day is the most important part of your day. Now, for those of you that don't know, for those of you that do know, Court is actually pretty big. He's got a podcast, he's got a crazy real estate portfolio. He's
Yeah.
also got a lot of stuff that he's doing in the film industry as
Yeah.
well. He's an actor too. So he's involved in so many different things that sometimes, like, you might say, wait, real estate, but he's also doing acting. He's also
Yeah.
doing this and that. Look, I'm just gonna go right into it. And if there is a lag, guys, excuse us for that, but let's get going. So, Court, the beginning of your day, I'm gonna throw it to you. What does that typically look like? And then we'll get into some tactical stuff that everybody can start.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, me being on the West Coast, you have to figure that, by design, when we wake up, we're playing catch up with the rest of the country, right? So everybody else on the East Coast and the Midwest, their day's already started. So many times, having businesses and different things going on in different parts of the country, I'm playing catch up. So I don't have the luxury to really sleep in, and even for myself, I usually wake up about 7. Now for some people on the West Coast, that's late. Some people wake up 4:30, 5 o'clock, but I have to get my rest. I have to get my 8 hours, right, in order to be optimal. But usually when I get up, I take about maybe 15, 20 minutes. I meditate, which I kind of lay there for a second and gather myself, kind of gather my day, take inventory on what's important, what different situations in my life. And then I go to look at my phone, right? So that's when everything starts. Everything starts once you pick up that phone and look at it. So, okay, so who's texting, what emails you got, what WhatsApp you got, which I usually have a WhatsApp from you. And you start from there. I usually get up, I eat breakfast. Now, I think it's important to make sure, again, like I said, you're optimal, that you're drinking your water, that you're feed, you're nourishing yourself, you have nourishment. So your all your facilities are operating optimally. So that's usually how my day starts, is playing catch up, but I think you have to be very organized. Another thing that I do too is the night before, I usually make notes. I make a task list. Now this is very different from, the calendar. I don't necessarily like the calendar to tell me kind of certain task. The calendar is for, okay, meetings, okay, do this at a certain time, do this, but task, follow up with this email, follow up with this person, call this person, check on this, check on that. So a lot of times that goes to being prepared. So, I do that the night before, when it's fresh on my mind, I say, okay, this is what I need to do. But that's how my day normally starts, playing catch up.
So one thing you mentioned, you were talking about checking the phone. I think most people nowadays, they're definitely just right off the bat, that's the first thing they're looking at. And
Yeah.
something I actually had to start doing is breaking that away, right? And what I mean by this is
Yes.
I try my best not to check my phone right away. Now, obviously,
Hmm.
sometimes I sleep late, so it gives me a bit of
Yes.
an advantage, but I know that once I open up my phone or once I
Yeah.
open up WhatsApp, Slack, whatever
Yeah.
the software
Yeah.
some of you guys are probably using, it's
Yeah.
just messages and tasks that I need to get done, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for, you know, obviously for some of you, you're probably wondering who I am. I am the COO of Legacy Builders University, which is, you know, what me and Core are actually bringing to you guys to help
Mhm.
you guys scale your income and really leave that 9 to 5 life behind for
Mhm.
those of you that are in it. And for those of you that are starting to take wind with your side hustles, we're here to also help you scale that up, leveraging social media. So to continue with the video, right, and with this interview as well, is what are some of the things that you would say makes your day different than, let's say, the average person's day, right? Because obviously you've got a lot to do, you've got a
Mhm.
lot going on. And for many business owners,
Right.
it seems like we're always running out of time, right? Like business owners, for some reason,
Yes.
especially in the early days, it's like, man, you've got so much to do, but you're running out of time. You know, you've got this, you got this, you got to send invoices, you got to make sure somebody else is over here is getting
Yeah.
paid and this and that. So how do you kind of balance that out? And then how do you prioritize tasks?
Um, well, task or task, especially when you're an entrepreneur, from the big task to the small task, they have to get done. The thing about being an entrepreneur is you have to be disciplined because there's no one standing over your shoulder like at a job, right? To make sure you do it, make sure you do it correctly, make sure that you have to do that. But I think being organized takes all the clutter away, and that's why I always stress the mindset. Like you said, you grab your phone as soon as you get up, or you don't like to do that. Because the minute you grab your phone, it's like being at a race and the gun goes off. As soon as you open that phone, it's like, pow, the starter pistol goes off, right? Um, so you have to take some time and try to get prepared for that. So I think it's for me. I just once I get up, I know that okay, breakfast is first, right? Um, again, like I said, I'm playing catch up. I have to check my traps, see who needs the immediate attention, whether it's a maintenance guy, whether it's content or business or there's always problems. The thing about being an entrepreneur and being a boss is you become a professional problem solver. So every day there is some type of problem that needs to be solved. And you have to have kind of this hierarchy, this thing of, okay, what problem is most important and work my way back. So I kind of use a merit scale, I guess, if you could say that, just what's most important and what's emergent and what really needs my attention. So I start with that. I start with those things. And I structure my day kind of I, I hate to say it, right? But this is as important. I really structure my day around my gym time. So I know that there's a certain amount of things that I need to get done before I go to the gym. You know what I mean? And then there's after the gym. So I think it's just, structuring your day and not just free willy-nilly, just free falling. That's when you're in disarray, then that reflects in what you're doing because you can be running in place and not gaining any ground. You can be busy and not necessarily getting things done. So I think it's important. Write stuff down. Write down your to-do list. Use your technology. Use your calendar to help you stay on task for meetings, and also a lot of times we can get distracted with things. You can get distracted with just a conversation with a friend. A friend might call and what could really be a 5-minute conversation turns into 45 minutes. You could be on social media, just kind of lightly looking, and before you know it, an hour's passed, So you really have to be very mindful of your distractions. It's like you gotta starve them distractions and feed your focus. That's where the discipline comes in. You have to be very, very disciplined because I've done it. I've done it. I'll be in the middle of doing something, a friend call, and before you know it, we jaw jacking for 30 minutes. And now it's a domino effect for the rest of my day. So now when I told you I'm playing catch up when I wake up, now I'm playing super catch up. So yeah, write things down, write your menial. I wouldn't necessarily say menial, but write certain tasks down, check them off as you go. And then, I think that's how you proceed with your day. Yeah.
100%. And there's two things too that you mentioned. Now, one thing
Mhm.
is writing stuff down. So I've got this pad where it's like every night, the night before, I write
Yeah.
everything that I did
Yeah.
not get done, and then anything else I know I need to get done. And even
Yes.
we were just saying about the time, like I would spend, let's say, just the last 2 days as I'm working on some of the marketing stuff for us, funnels, automations, etc.
Mhm.
It's like the time, every time I look at the clock, it's the next hour. Every time I look at the
Yeah.
clock, it's the
Yep.
next hour. I'm like, yo, why does it seem like time is moving so fast?
Yep.
Then you get a call, and now you're like, now it's already 5 o'clock. Now it's 6 o'clock or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And one of the ways I do my best to avoid that is I don't even, let's say, open up myself to the world to receive calls and messages
Mhm.
until like around, our team meetings, which is around like 1,
Yeah.
1:30. Sometimes I might open it up for
Mhm.
like at 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., depending on,
Mhm.
obviously when you've got clients or virtual assistants that are across the world,
Mhm.
you gotta have a little bit of a crazy schedule. But
Right.
the longer you can just push back your notifications that you get from, let's say, the world, the more you can
Yeah.
get done. Now, obviously, it's different depending on who you are and how you operate. Let's say your business
Yeah.
or even
Yeah.
side hustles and your job, right? Because obviously, what I
Yeah.
just tell you, like, yeah, don't go to work, right? But
Right.
some of the ways I kind of balance just managing some of that stuff is waking up early, right? Waking up
Mhm.
early gives me the day. Now, a lot of people, some people are against it. Some people want, like, you could wake up whenever you want, right? I'm just gonna say
Mhm.
this is what works for me is when I wake
Mhm.
up early, I know that I have a stretch until 11 a.m. to just get stuff done before potential distractions start,
Mhm.
getting in the way. So for you, right? Let's say, now let's kind of start to get into content a little bit. So when you're recording content, when you're
Mhm.
ideating, right, and coming up with ideas, stuff for the podcast, stuff for Legacy Builders University, even some of the trainings or scripts that I might send your way, like how do you go about getting that stuff done so that one, you know, obviously we can get it out to editors, they can get it back to
Yeah.
us in a timely manner, etc. How do you go about just planning, let's say, the week, the day, the month when it comes to content creation, as well as getting it to editors, getting it back, and then finally, scheduling or uploading it?
Yeah. Well, for me, it takes more time. I always make the analogies of working out, right? Of being in the gym. You're only in the gym an hour a day. It's what you do the other 23 hours, which account for your results. Well, it's the same thing with content creation for me. Um, Most of my efforts and time are geared toward after the content is done, right? So what I do, because I have a TV production, movie production background, I shoot like a TV show. So for me, I may take a day, let's just say a few days out the month, or if you go a week, right? Let's just use a week for an example. I may take one day out of that week and shoot all of my content, right? So then, okay, that part is done. And so now the rest of my time is dealing with the editors. The rest of my time is dealing with the packaging of it and then the output of it. And then even with the output of it, I'm scheduling things. So you want to work smarter. To be honest with you, the way that I kind of work, I work it's kind of fluid. It's fluid yet structured, meaning I may have content ready to go, right? But again, uh, something else may be going on in the world, right? Because you, like how you said, well, I kind of block off the rest of the world. I don't do that because information moves so fast, and you don't want to put yourself on an island and be cut off from the information because you may have to run an audible with anything that you're doing, right? So when it comes to content, I may think or have scheduled out that, okay, I'm gonna drop this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But then guess what? There may be something in the world going on. There may be something trending. There may be a different conversation going on that, oh, hold on. I know I had that scheduled. No, 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 no. I had something that fits right in with that. So now let me push. So you see, so my thing is kind of fluid. It's kind of just organic. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if that makes sense,
Yeah.
it's not so stringent. So I think you have to just be able to kind of flow and be like water, That's what I always say. You have to kind of flow like water. There's structure there. If you think about it, water, if you pour it down, yeah, it's going down, but it's still flowing however it comes out. You know what I mean? Whether you throw it, whether you dump it, whether you pour it slow, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I find that works for me. But yes, I like to do my content very structured. Even with my podcast, I like to shoot all my episodes, and then that frees up my time to deal with the other side of it. Because the other side is, to me, the more difficult side, the editing, the captions, and figuring out what's working, the social media, the posting, and all of that. Plus, on top of all of my other videos. And then it's the thing, I haven't even accounted for, if you have a spouse, you have a family, you have kids, so you have to, implement work-life balance as well. So you have a spouse. So for me, that starts in the evening. So about 7:30, I start kind of shutting it down. And that's where, I'm fellowshipping with my wife. We're hanging out. I'm catching up with her about her day. I'm still available for my kids, even though my kids are adults, but still, you're always a parent, right? So, and then it's important that you take time out for yourself too, even just some quiet time. And that's kind of my gym time. When I'm in the gym, that's kind of my self time. I can kind of get in my thoughts on some days. Some days I may leave my thoughts outside the gym. Again, fluid, whatever it needs to be at that time, whatever you need at that time. So I think fluidity, that's kind of my message. In that structure, at the same time, a little bit of fluidity. You don't want to be so locked in and rigid, because guess what? When you're so locked in and rigid, that's going to breed stress. That's going to breed some what's the word I'm looking for? You're going to kind of be a little, what's the word? I'm losing my words. When you
Like
not
like
anxiety.
fidgety, yeah, exactly.
It's going to breed anxiety,
Yeah,
because you feel like, I got to make this, I got to hit this marker, I have to do this, I have to do it. So you're always in a state of panic. You can loosen up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So yes, that's my advice.
gotcha. Okay. Now you actually answered one of the questions I was going to ask, which was about,
Okay.
managing work and managing your personal life. So
Yeah.
the next question I have is basically, let's say, looking back at your career, right? Looking back
Mhm.
at the last, couple decades, and what would you say is the number one time management habit that you wish you adopted sooner? Right, because obviously as time goes on, there's things you start to
Mhm.
like, I like doing it this way. I like doing it that way.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do this anymore. So what would you say is either the number one or top two things that you just
You
adopt?
know, I'll be very honest with you, bro. It's funny because, okay, if you go back to my story, I've always been very disciplined and very structured. Because so me being a rapper, being an artist in the early 90s, okay, we were always on a time crunch, So when we're in the studio or we're recording, we don't have much money. So we're squeezing. I've been doing it for 30 plus years, and I'm only realizing it now that I'm saying it out loud. So, by the time that we got to be able to go into a studio, because we had minimal money, we literally had to go in prepared. We had to know our songs. We had to do everything. And if we could afford 4 hours, we're trying to record a whole album in that 4 hours. Now I'm doing this at 15, 16, 17 years old. So for me, it's always been intrinsic. I've always just been very, I never been a big procrastinator. I was always very ambitious and focused. But what I did learn as I got older and as I start taking on more businesses and more responsibility was the delegation part. Obviously, back then there wasn't anything to delegate, but now, when you have real estate, you have, content, you have, this business, you have this production going on. I'm trying to get this green lit. I'm getting this pitch deck done. I'm getting this done. So obviously yes, I learned to delegate. Because when you try to do everything, it's like chasing two rabbits. If you try to chase two rabbits, both of them are going to get away. So you have to learn how to delegate, so things don't suffer, because you don't want to be, the jack of all trades and the master of none, to where you're doing so many things, but you're not optimal, you're not efficient in any of them. So delegation is very, very important. And you want to delegate. And I know for some people, a lot of people are control freaks. They have issues with delegating because they feel like no one can do it better than them. But trust me, many times I've learned, somebody's 70%, even if you know that, okay, this person is kind of, half-assing and they're giving me 70%, that 70% is going to go a lot further probably than the 15% that you can put into it. You know what I mean? So again, I come back to fluidity and just being adroit, being fluid. Like I always say, you can be stubborn, with your goals, but you have to be flexible with your methods. You know what I mean? So yeah, that would be my advice, is you have to be, yeah, you got to be structured, but you got to be fluid. I keep coming back to that. You know what I mean?
Nah, I see it. I see it. And I guess, I mean, this works perfectly with the last question. So you said to be, a joy and to be fluid, but also be structured. So it
Yeah.
kind of sounds like that is the main advice that you have, for someone who might feel constantly overwhelmed or short on time. Now, of course, being prepared is also everything, right? Like preparation,
Yes.
you'll hear
Yes.
a lot of people, oh, preparation is the key to success, right?
Yeah.
But not everybody knows how to prepare, right? Like you
Mhm.
could prepare but not get anything done. You could have a
Yeah.
whole to-do list, the whole thing, and you got reminders, you got alarms, and you still
Yeah.
don't get things done. So how do you go about preparing? And then
Yeah.
how do you actually make sure you get everything done? That's my last question for you.
Yeah. Well, preparation, in my opinion, is being honest with yourself and acknowledging what your weaknesses are. Right. So that's a part of preparation. So if you know that you're forgetful, write things down, make a task list. If you know that you have the natural proclivity to procrastinate, you know what I mean? Then you need to put a measure in place so you don't procrastinate. If you know that, okay, I get distracted easily, when somebody calls, I tend to talk. Well, guess what? You don't need to cut yourself off from the world, but if that person calls and that distraction calls, then you just not answer it, because you know that, okay, it's gonna go longer than what I needed to go. So I think it's just being real with yourself, being honest, understanding what your strengths. You're only as strong as your weaknesses. So understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. Go to those weaknesses and fortify those things, strengthen those things. And this will make you better overall, because like I said, you're only as strong as your weaknesses. And so that's what I tend to do. Like for myself, um, my weakness would probably be sometime probably taking on too much. You know what I mean? So I've had to kind of modulate myself and say, okay, you know what? I can't save the world. Let's be real with yourself. You can't save the world. You can't save everybody. You don't know everything. It starts with being real with yourself and say, okay, let's sit down. Let's figure out what's most important, what's most valuable, and where I know that, my time can be properly put. And I start from there. And that's taking inventory. Like I said, at the beginning of the day, I do that. So I'm coming full circle. That started when I told you I wake up and I meditate. Yes, I'm taking inventory. Okay, what's important, what's not, who's important, who's not, who's distracting, what clutter do I need to get out of my mind, and then it's like I whittle down to where now this is all the stuff that counts. Now let's put this in place. And that starts before I even start. You know what I mean? So it came full circle. So that's what I do. I work on those weaknesses. I work on those weaknesses. If you just harp on your strength, then you're going to be imbalanced, and inevitably those weaknesses are going to hinder you, that they're going to break, and they're going to break the system. It's like a chain link. So yeah, start with your weaknesses and work on those, strengthen those, and then go from there.
I completely agree, especially with what you just said about, taking on too much. That's definitely something I tend to do. And it's
Yeah.
a lot of times it's not that you want to take on so much. A lot of it, I could say it's trust issues, right? Where you're like,
Yeah. Yeah.
man, you're like, I can do this, I could get it done. I could get it done faster. I could get it done more efficient, or I could get it done,
Yeah.
everything else that you want to say, right?
Yeah.
But, and this is a lesson I had to learn last year as well. It's just like, obviously, delegation is key, right? And depending on the task, depending on the level of, let's say brain power it might use, because some people they're good at being a workhorse, but they're not good at just ideating and coming up with ideas and that creativity aspect. You can just you have to tell them what to do, right? And so I think a lot of times when you're delegating, it's understanding, okay, is this a task that requires a lot of my time where nobody else on the team or nobody else in my company, or however you want to, let's say structure that, nobody else can do it except for me? Perfect. Make some time on your calendar to do it, right? And if you're somebody who, not somebody, but if the task is like, okay, I just need these emails written, or I just need, whatever those basic tasks are, if there are people on your team, or, if it's something that's extremely easy to do, get it done in the beginning. Now, some people, they start their days with the hardest tasks first, and then, they ease it up towards the end of the day. But I know other people who start with the easiest stuff first, and then they kind of, expand it throughout the day.
Yeah.
So, obviously, all of
And
this. Yep, go ahead.
well, I just wanted to add this. The other thing about it too, again, you know me, Duno, I'm very big on the mindset, principle and the perspective. At the end of the day, enjoy the journey. When you enjoy what it is you're doing, and this comes with wisdom, this comes with life experience, you know what I mean? You start understanding, I swear, the older that you get or the wiser that you get, you start understanding that a lot of things that you think are so heavy and so big, they really aren't. They really are not that damn important on the scale of life. So every day, get up, do your best, but enjoy the journey. You know what I mean? Understand that you have tomorrow, yes, you want to be efficient. You want to be efficient. You want to be effective. You want to be optimal. Yes, you want to do your best, but you don't have to kill yourself. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the journey. And you have to be patient. Patience is a virtue. That's a part of it too. Because I see a lot of people, man, they'll just go, 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 and it's like, okay, just because your intensity and it's not going to get you there any faster. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's for you is for you at the end of the day, because it's all in God's time. But you have to do your part. So I say that to say, just to kind of ease the mental angst that comes along with all of this, because it's a lot. It can wear on you. And this is coming from someone who I've been in it for so long, and it will take a mental toll on you if you allow it. It's not worth it. You know what I'm saying? It can happen the same way by just relaxing, say, hey, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna move as efficient as I can. I'm gonna make the necessary changes. I'm gonna do the work, but I'm going to live my life. I'm going to enjoy my family. I'm going to, breathe, take it all in, because what can happen is you can be so busy, trying to get, a lot of people are so focused on the destination to where they don't even enjoy the journey. You know what I'm saying? And you'll look up 10, 15 years of pass by, and you just see yourself as all a blur. And you like, damn, I didn't even, yeah, I did that, but I don't even remember. It just all, so there's balance, work-life balance. You have to balance all these things. So that's what I wanted to say.
Perfect. I think that's well said, especially nowadays. Everybody always seems to be in a rush. Everybody's traffic. I got to get to this
Yep.
place. I got to go here, especially
Yeah.
in big cities, like New York
Yes.
City.
I'm in LA.
Yeah,
Yes.
like
Yeah.
everybody's in a rush. So, for those of you guys who are inside of the community, there is a resource training that I created, which is called the System Solution Roadmap, right? And basically with this roadmap, it shows you exactly what to do and how to really just balance out getting things done, right? If figuring out whether it needs your time or whether you can outsource it. And if you want to outsource it, how to outsource it. Literally step by step, exactly when to delegate and when to create, let's say, resources and trainings for those of you that, let's say you've got some employees, you've got, a couple of clients that you're trying to manage, etc. It goes from beginner to expert. So that's inside of the community. Obviously, if you can't find it, just shoot me a message on school on inside of our community, and I'll get back to you on that. Now, for those of you that are watching the YouTube video, of course, we want you inside Legacy Builders University because I think it's the #1 place to be, specifically if you are looking to scale your income and really leave that 9 to 5 life behind and really just start to monetize your time on social media. So with that being said, Court, I don't know if you have any last words.
Hey, my last words are, listen, all of what we told you, it all starts with mindset. A lot of people want success. They want to make a lot of money. They want to become millionaires, and whatever it is that you want to do, whatever success that you want to attain, you got to understand you have to first become that person in order to attain those things. So any successful person, trust me, no matter what it looks like from the outside, they may look like they party all the time, they live a life of luxury and all of that. Trust me, these people are doing the work. They're disciplined, they're focused, and trust me, they have to balance too, because if you don't, you lose your mind and you won't be you won't be any good for anyone. So I've been around for many moons, and I've built from nothing. So trust me when I tell you, you want to go hard, but at the same time, you have to protect this. You have to protect your peace. You have to protect your mind. You have to protect your health in pursuit of your goals as well. Because makes no sense to do all of that and then get to the money and get to the place that you thought that you wanted to get to, and then you have crazy, you don't know your kids, your personal life is in shambles, you know what I mean? It's all for naught. And again, this is coming from someone, I'm speaking from a space of already getting there and accomplishment. So I could tell you, yeah, it's cool here, but trust me, it's not, I wouldn't sacrifice my well-being and my sanity for it. You know what I mean? So I hope that that resonates.
Awesome. Well, sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now, of course, if there was lag, obviously, I'm sorry about that, guys. But I think that's a wrap. We'll see you guys on the next one.
That's a wrap. All right. See you guys.